Suella made quite a stark intervention in the US at the National Conservatism Conference. I mean, she didn't say anything that you necessarily disagree with, particularly on the trans issue, which is where she's drawn the most flack. She said, the Progress Pride flag represents a dangerous ideology. And she said that, children were essentially being mutilated by the NHS on the Conservatives' watch. Why has that upset people so much?
Well, I think we're seeing the playing out of the Tory melodrama that we've seen for the last 11, 12, 18 months, really. I mean, over the discussions around Rwanda, you saw this cleavage within the party between the right and the centrists. And I think generally that's now translated into, you had these leaked cabinet discussions over the weekend in which Kemi Badenoch effectively was accused by Suella Braverman of effectively sleepwalking into a defeat for the Conservatives. And so now you're going to see this opening up a little bit more. And effectively, on the one side of the party, you have Suella Braverman saying, bringing the culture war issues to a far greater focus and taking very strong stances on these particular issues. But I think there is a big chunk of the Conservative Party who see their pathway back to power as selecting someone slightly more moderate, people like Robert Jenrick, people like that. But this discussion has been around and been playing out for a long time now.
Yeah.
And they've been sniping at each other for a long time, particularly around the legality of their plans relating to Rwanda. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that as the leadership contest probably heats up towards the end of this year.
Yeah, definitely. It does seem sort of fanciful that the sort of wet wing of the Tory party can claim victory after this. After all those people go to reform, actually sensible centrism is the answer.
It's never stopped them before. I mean, there's nothing. the centrist capacity for self-delusion is incredible.
Yeah.
I think we may well see that play out here. I think it would be absurd if you had a kind of a centrist kind of wet Tory, One Nation, whatever you want to call them, figure emerge from the ashes of this particular election, for all the reasons that you've just said. At the same time, I think it's interesting how something like the Suella Braverman scandal has sort of demonstrated that people from that side of the party, whether it's within the party or in the kind of commentariat, still don't really get a lot of these underlying issues. Yeah. I get that some people didn't take kindly to her language talking about the mutilation of children in the NHS, but if you're more upset by how she expressed it than the scandal itself, then I think your moral compass is screwed up and you are more concerned with just looking good on the BBC than you are with actually dealing with the issues that people are now increasingly, even with this defeat, will look more to the Tory party than the Labour Party to deal with. It's an area where they could start to rebuild, but there are still many people within and certainly around the Tory party who seem to be convinced that they've got to ignore this stuff or certainly just not talk about it too intemperately.